Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
And Big Boy Summer here bringing you our part 5 of OVERLORD Season 4.
Albedo and Pandora's actor went to battle with two of the stronger warriors that we've seen so far. And that would be Azuth and Riku, who is actually not Riku, but for now that's the name that they believe he has. So they were basically testing out how strong they were and the threat level. Ainz decided that he thinks that they'll need to lose to them at least one more time to figure out all of the things that they're dealing with and what kind of items that they might have.
And this story actually really tracks for Ainz. Ainz is not afraid of losing in order to learn more. He's a very knowledge by experience guy. He tries to get all the information possible. He is top 1% of the magic casters in Yggdrasil. He is still a PvP master, even though he lost constantly to Lord Peroncino and all the other, well, just him actually. He's the only one who lost to. And all their battles weren't recorded or else he would have had a very low score. But that would make sense since Peroncino was the best PvPer in the game. So, you know, it tracks. Ainz likes to get his information to make his spells and whatever accordingly because he's not playing a min-max build. He's not playing a proper true character build in order to win the game. He's actually role-playing in the game and he just so happens to be good at fighting. Battle tactics is one of his strongest points.
And I think that this actually goes to how he started out when he was playing the game. He was one of the weakest players. He was just constantly beaten up. And that's really his start point. If it hadn't been for his guild, he would have continued to be someone who could never move forward because he was constantly losing all of these battles. And so he uses his roots. And that's why he's not afraid to lose. He knows that there is value in losing. I really love that about Ainz.
I like it when, I think it was season 3 or 2, when Prince Zanuck asked Rena, what do you think of the Sorcerer's King? And she was like, he is an unfathomable beast that doesn't know the value of being conceited or has so much humility because he is always careful. He's always calculating. And my guy doesn't plan. But again, when it comes to combat and making sure that he is going to win the war, my guy turns up.
Now, I want to quickly talk about Brain because from the beginning of Overlord, really, we had Brain and Gazef, and they were really great hero types. It's a real shame what happened to both of their characters, but at the same time, I feel like they brought their death on themselves. Gazef could have just not fought Ainz. He didn't need to do it then. He could have gone away and tried to up his game a little bit more. I mean, I don't know what good it would have done, but he threw it away. And you saw it again with Brain doing exactly the same thing, but with Cocytus this time. I felt sorry for Brain, though, because he was saying how great it was that he met Sebas, and he has no idea that Sebas is actually a subordinate of Ainz. And the person who he believes so much in is with the people who he wants to fight against, and of course he ended up losing his life in this episode as well by Cocytus, who is one of the most reasonable NPCs really out of all of them. He believes in the sanctity of life, he believes in the warrior, but you know, here we go, he's dead and preserved for all eternity.
Brain is an idiot. Okay, like look, Gazef at least threw his life for a reason. If Gazef didn't throw his life away, Ainz would have trampled the whole of the kingdom using his baby goats. Okay? Gazef sacrificed himself to save the kingdom. That is fine. I don't agree that Gazef should. If I was Gazef to save the kingdom, I would have said, Ainz, yo, I'll be your subordinate. You know, he had those two choices. But he chose one and the goal that he wanted was achieved. Fine. Brain is an idiot. You have the only sword that you know of that can actually damage the Sorcerer's King. Your aim when you decided to leave was to go and fight said Sorcerer's King.
Yep.
Then you stopped in the middle of the road to go and fight a subordinate. What were you doing?
And left the sword behind.
And left the sword behind. Like, what were you doing, fam? What what? I was gonna go and play Kiss Chase with the Sorcerer's King. Are you stupid, blood? You spent this whole anime trying to beat Shaltir and you broke her nail, okay? Then you trained some more and you got a little stronger. Like that last move that you did, bruv, combination of the strongest that any human can possibly get. Well done. I'm proud of you. And you didn't waste it on your intended target with a weapon that could actually harm them. You took all them potions. You took all them potions, got stronger, did your final attack on the subordinate, and lost your life. Brain, you're an idiot. That's it. Straight up.
Personally, I do not think that Brain is an idiot. When Gazeth died, that was his best friend. They were like so close that you might as well say that they were like family members, and he went through a great depression after he died. Personally, I think that this was basically suicide by cop. He left the sword behind because he didn't want them to have the sword after they killed him. He knew he was going to lose his life. He knew that this was the end of the road, and he chose to die as a warrior. He chose the warrior's death instead of moping around the way that he was after Gazeth's death. But speaking of idiots, let's talk about the good old king of the empire.
Ramposa III.
So the king was such a waste of space, and he was a waste of space through the whole of all of the seasons for me. He hung on to that crown until the very end instead of giving it to a successor. And he was going to allow his oldest incompetent son to be the heir, even though he knew that he had no business being in control of anything. And then he knew that the war was coming. He knew in advance. And yet he's telling Rhaenyra to escape through a secret passage moments before the whole palace is going to get taken over. You're telling me that they have secret passageways and the royal children don't know where it is? This makes no sense. Now, every single royal I am willing to say, even to this day, have secret passageways in events of war or terrorism, something that's really terrible that's going to happen to the country where they can escape. And yet he's only telling her moments before they're about to be taken over. Even if she went through the passageway, she's not going to escape.
To his credit, he told her to escape a month ago, and she didn't listen.
That's true, but did he tell her the secret passageway? No, he didn't. He just said, oh, escape! You should escape. He didn't even try very hard. He's the damn king, okay? She's just a child. She's his child, okay?
Okay, look, Ramposa is an idiot, but he's an idiot for me for different reasons. So, look, till the day that Ainz brought his army to its door, he was trying to negotiate not to have this war in the first place. A few weeks before the day that Ainz brought his army to the door, he was locked up by Zanuck. He made no royal decrees to get anyone to let him out and actually do his kingly duties. His son was doing all his kingly duties, making sure everything was done. He didn't even know that Raven had betrayed him. He didn't know that Renna had betrayed him. He didn't know that his nobles were going to betray his son. He didn't know nothing. He was kept in the dark. King! He is the king. Do you get what I mean? Okay. On top of that, yeah, he made one feeble attempt to tell Climb, yo, I'll give you my daughter's hand in marriage if you make her escape. Your daughter's gonna bang him anyways. Like, there's nothing you can do. What power did you have there? In that room, you were powerless. And so what did you go and do? I'm taking my crown and scepter off and all my books, and so therefore the Sorcerer's King can't have them. That is my great victory plan. Off. I literally just off. I'm sorry. I know it's bad, but you had no business running the country, and this is what you get for being an ineffectual leader. Look, even the Emperor, King Jerknim, knew, yo, okay, vassalization, I can't win here. Like, I can't take you on. I can't get friends to take you on with me. There's nothing I know that will destroy you, and you can pop up anytime you feel like. So if you can pop up, I've seen your panoply of guys. I know who you're with, bruv. Yeah, I'm out.
Yes, Ramposa was a really weak king, and I do truly believe that if it hadn't been Ainz, it would have been somebody else. What?
No, I agree with you, and I know who that someone else would have been.
Yeah, there was no way that he was going to stay in power because he was unwilling to pass it on to his heir, which is what he should have done. And you're right, he was basically trapped. He didn't give any decrees, he didn't give any guidance to the people about what was going to happen. Everybody basically had to fend for themselves. All of the different towns and cities had to fend for themselves and figure strategies out for themselves and employ adventurers when they could, or people that were strong enough to come and fight for them, because the king wasn't doing anything at all. He was completely ineffectual, and I think he actually damaged the kingdom a lot.
Look, if it wasn't Ainz, in a few years' time, it was going to be Jerkliv. Because that was the whole point of their wars in the Cat's Plains in the first place. Jerkliv was whittling down the army and the strength of the kingdom every single year during the winter so that there won't be enough people to do the harvest. That was the reason why he was doing it every single year. So one day he could just roll through and massacre everything. It just so happens that this big demon of a dude called Bone Daddy Ainz Sama came into play and literally exacerbated the situation. Look, I'm not a fan of King Ramposa III. I think he's an idiot. I wasn't a fan of his firstborn, Barbaro. I was a little bit of a fan of Zanet because he
stepped up.
He stepped up when he needed to be stepped up. But my favourite child he has, Rena, is a G blood, and she deserves to be in Nazarick. That's it.
Okay, so Rhaenyra did join the Sorcerer's Kingdom pretty early on and was working against her own family members and country to get what she wanted, which was eventually she was made into a demon. She's an imp, that's her class, although they didn't say it in the anime. That's basically what she is. And as sick as she is, she decided that she was going to bring Climb along with her. And because Climb obviously has not suffered enough, she decided that she was going to ask for him to be resurrected just enough. Just enough so that she could take care of him. He can barely speak, and he has agreed to become a demon with her and to pledge his allegiance to the Sorcerer King. You know, Climb, to me, I wonder about him, because even when reading the books, I feel like he knows more than he acts as if he knows. I feel like he does know that Rhaenyra is not quite right, but he just doesn't care because she saved him.
I don't know. Like, okay, there are times when I was reading and watching where I was going, bruv, you've got to see this, bruv, you know that. And then there was times where I was reading and watching and going, actually, he is this oblivious. So I honestly, I'm on the fence on that one, but I know, I can see your points.
Okay, so I was on the fence until I started watching it. And this was when, I can't remember what episode it was, but they were in a carriage together and Rhaenyra was talking to Evil Eye, I think.
Yeah.
And Climb was giving her a side-eye look like he didn't know who the hell was sitting next to him. And I thought that's such an odd look that he's looking at her that way. I don't know. I don't think he knows everything. I don't think he knows to the extent. But I do think that he knows at least a little bit. Because when he was resurrected, he immediately agreed to become a demon. And he immediately agreed to pledge allegiance to the Sorcerer King that he was just trying to murder.
Okay. That was when I was starting to straddle the fence. Because the whole time, mostly, I was like, it could be he's oblivious. But as you said, literally, them last 2 episodes were word for word what the book did, yeah? So when I read that, I was like, actually, did he know? Like, that, yeah. So I agree with you, I get that.
So Rhaenyra also murdered all of the orphans and staff using poison that she requested from Ainz, and also it was confirmed that 90% of this plan to take over everything actually came from Rhaenyra herself.
Yes, the 10% came from Demiurge. And Demiurge, bruv, like, we don't get it here. We saw it in one scene where Demiurge was we saw it in one scene where Demiurge was gushing over Rhaenyra about how great she was and how much of an asset she would be for Nazarick, because he only had to give his 10%, basically. Because he's more of a person who will let you hang yourself by your own rope kind of guy. And she's more of a proactive destructor. They work in tandem, innit? He was basically in love with her. She's very proactive.
So is Demiurge.
No.
I think you're forgetting about the missing arc that we have right here.
I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
I don't want to give it away, Ruka.
Let's move to who you wanted to talk about,
Can we talk about Philip? Because this sketch here is the reason why the kingdom is in rubble right now and the palace is encased in ice. Without him, this wouldn't have happened for another few years. What? Okay, please, Ruka, please, make me understand this. You mean to tell me that you've caused this casus belli, you've made everyone decide that this is what's going to happen. You haven't gone to the kingdom or the palace or anything and said, look, listen, I did it. Can we stop the war? I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. You've not done nothing. All you've done is drank and bang. That is it. Make it make sense, Ruka.
There's no sense to make it out of Philip, and I think we all know this. But you know, one thing that really disappointed me was we didn't actually get to see how they killed everyone, because they killed everyone, even the farmers that did not want to take part. They killed every single person. And I really just wish that they had shown us that. Yes, they did show us the estate covered in blood, but it would have been nice to see what they did.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a lot more massacres this whole season, to be honest.
Right. Maybe censorship might have been a reason why some things were not covered.
I'm leaning more towards the fact that the author doesn't want to do this anymore. And so it was like, I can't be asked, just get it out quickly. Because we've gone through 3 books in one season, where usually we don't go through that many books so quickly. So,
we do. This is season 4, and it covered up to what, book 14?
Yeah, I guess we do then, don't we? Sorry,
usually animes cover about 3 volumes.
Yeah, but okay,
per season.
Okay, I get this, but then why did it feel so quick? Like
it's because a lot of things were missed. A lot of things were missed out, and again, it's the missing arc.
Oh.
Which I really do hope that it will be the movie that's coming out, because as a movie, I think that it will have a lot of impact. If they've chosen to do that, I think it might actually be a smart move.
It is my favourite arc of the whole book so far. The whole series of Overlord so far. And it is well worth it if they do it, and if they do it justice. But back to this season, I feel like they did a good job. They were true to the actual, source material. Yes, they missed things. And yes, as readers, we're a little bit annoyed at that and whatnot. But in terms of an anime, boy, was it a good anime. We saw Shaltia shine. We saw Demiurge do his plan. We saw the insidiousness of the actual denizens of Nazarick and how they go about dealing punishment. We saw what the carrot and the stick actually meant. So, and then Ainz leaves the whole season saying, do you think this will be remembered? Yes, for eternity. Then my job was done. What? It's the exact mental state of everyone that was in the book and how it went about it. I think they did a very good job this season, and I can't wait for season 5. But I really can't wait for the film.
We got introduced to the Dragon Lord as well, which will hopefully play a bigger part in the upcoming books. I had the same issues that I had with Classroom of the Elite this season, which is, although they're including all of the stuff, they're missing some depth when they're missing out some of these key moments. However, they did do a very good job. I still really enjoyed it, and I especially enjoyed the last 2 episodes as well. Bringing it to life, they did a great job.
Yeah, totally great job. Guys, you know what, Overlord, you came again and you represented. You went in hard and we love it.
And on that note, it has been confirmed that the light novels will end on volume 18, and volume 17 and 18 will be released very closely together.
And if you want to talk to us about more Overlord, just DM us on Bomb Anime Insta.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
And if you made it this far, we really do appreciate you.
Peace.